the book, and I'll get you a copy, Unrestricted Warfare, written by two colonels back in the 90s off of the Gulf War. And what they said is foreign devils are so sophisticated in armaments, and particularly remote armaments and targeting, that we never want to get into a shooting war with foreign devils. That unrestricted warfare will be cyber, psychological, political, economic. We will do everything. And in fact, they announced in 2019, there's a people's war. The Chinese Communist Party is at war with us today. That's where you see the mass infiltration into the United States. That's where you see the taking of so much of our technology. We don't need, and Sun Tzu tells them in their belief, the moment they have to go kinetic, they feel they've already lost. Number one, they don't want to fight the foreign devils in a kinetic war because they understand one thing we can do is get up on it and fucking blow shit up and kill people, okay? We're very good at that. They considered that defeat. They want to defeat us beforehand. My point. The only people that throw off, think about that, we allow the Chinese Communist Party, which is a dictatorship that's killed 250 million of their own people, right? I mean, they make Stalin and Hitler look like pikers, okay? They've murdered in concentration camps, starvation, through the Cultural Revolution, the Great Leap Forward, the collectivization, and today the gulags they have, 250 million of their own people. And the forced abortions, you had another 300 or 400 million Chinese, particularly Chinese female babies. So these people are murderous dictatorship, yet we interact with them, we're in business with them like they're part of the Kiwanis Club. If you want to support Lao Beijing, which is the only way they can be overthrown, that's a name for old, old 100 names, because there's basically 100 names in the Chinese language, right? 100 last names. And so old 100 names is a term for the common man in China, common man and woman. If you want Lao Beijing to overthrow him, we just have to do two things. You cut him off completely from any access to American capital. And I mean any. No stock market, no equity, no lending, no nothing, zero. And you cut them off 100% from American technology. They will collapse, I believe, in 100 days. They cannot exist unless they have access to American capital or access to technology. This is why I'm one of the leaders of the decoupling effort, right? And President Trump, he wrote an executive order on Friday and signed it. That's probably the toughest thing we've done about no involvement at all with technology companies of any company that does Chinese military. It's the first time somebody's put down the law. That's the way you take care of the Chinese Communist Party. If we don't do that, I believe we'll be in a shooting war in the South China Sea and around Taiwan in 5 years. And people have to understand, I don't care about your moral, whether you think you're supporting Taiwan for a democracy or not. Advanced chip design, 30 to 40 to 50% of our advanced chip design comes from Taiwan. There's chip, and it's not easily replicable. The Koreans have tried it. The Japanese have tried it. We're trying it here in the United States with the CHIP Act. We are 10 or 20 years away from those plants. Advanced chip design is both an art and a science. We don't have it. They have it in those plants in Taiwan. It's 80 miles from the mainland China. It's a horrible situation. President Trump thinks about it all the time. You talked about the Pentagon. And that's where I spent half of my career at sea was there. The other half was in the North Arabian Sea and Persian Gulf. So I've steamed those waters. Right now, there's not been a war game in the Pentagon. They've put this out in the last 7 or 8 years that we've won defending Taiwan.
Wow.
Right. And they know that. So, and if they take Taiwan, the American economy will drop into a depression. They understand that. That's why it's kind of a standoff right now. But we have to get much more aggressive on the CCP or we're going to pay for it. And we do that by restricting Wall Street and restricting Silicon Valley from being in business with them.